And it was Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and let's talk about the process of settling a POB with retainers instead of settling it in aligners. And I know a lot of you struggle with POBs, posterior open bites, during treatment. They can be very unpredictable. Check out all the other content I have on POBs, dealing with them, preventing them, managing them, articulation. All you have to do is go into my YouTube channel, which is Straightsmile Solutions, search by the keyword POB. That's just like POB, or posterior open bite should also bring it to the videos, and take a look at all of that. One great document you might want to take a look at is called the debond workflow form. It might just be called debond workflow. It is a kind of an org chart that I made that takes you through the brain process of an orthodontist when we are finishing an aligner case. I have one for braces as well. Like if this, then that. So is it okay to debond? Well, it kind of takes you through, look at this, look at that, next steps, here's your options. So I take you through that form in the video. Take a look at that. So let's say you went through my debond workflow. And by the way, if you want a copy of it, I give free copies to anyone that's done an a la carte session, that's taken one of my digital courses. Just send me a receipt. If you've attended one of my webinars, as long as if it's within a few days of the webinar, can't be like years later. If attended one of my live classes, any purchase off my website, I'll give you a copy. If not, any of my handouts are $20 each. All you have to do is email me and I will send you a custom link to order. But I try to be as generous as possible. You do have to be a dentist in order to get a copy of it, or in the dental industry, I may ask. I will definitely vet you. I will look you up. So you can't just say you're a dentist, because I just don't want to be giving away my documents just to whomever. I don't know what people do with stuff, and that is copyrighted. But in any case, let's take you through this. So I'm assuming if you're listening to this video that you have looked at my other POB videos and my debond workflow video. So let's specifically talk about, let's say you had a patient, didn't want to finish in aligners, with extruding posterior teeth, intruding anterior teeth, whatever, doesn't have any anterior contacts. You've done bonded retainers, say from 7 to 10, upper 2 to 2, and lower 3 to 3, 22 to 26. And in doing so, there are still no anterior contacts. That's super important. If there's anterior contacts on the front teeth, first of all, you could get damage to those teeth. Second of all, this is not going to work. So you have to pick the right patient for that. Then comes the settling period. And there's always a risk with this, because you got to keep in mind, these are free flowing in the back. You're 3, you're 4, you're 5, you're 6, or 7, you're 3, you're 4, 5, 6, 7, and lower 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7 is, there's no retention on those teeth. So if those teeth, you got to look at the case, you got to pick the right case for this. So sometimes I have doctors come back and they're like, well, you said this would work. Well, yeah, the bite settled, but you might get relapse on the other teeth. So that is the gamble you take. And you have to let your patient know that this will work, to settle the teeth and to get you a good bite, but there's always a chance that the back teeth are going to relapse. So your patient has to realize that, this tooth, if it started off rotated, might go back to being rotated again, or they might get a space back there. So you have to pick the right case. If they have really light or open contacts in the back and they started off with gaps, well, then I wouldn't recommend this. If they had a rotated, canine, you could theoretically do if they started off with rotated canines, you could do it from 3 to 3 on top. It's not my favorite. The bite doesn't settle as well. But again, you have to customize this process for that patient, depending on whatever they started with. Remember, the PDLs are little bungee cords that attach to the bone. They have memory. So if they're free flowing and you're used to having braces or aligners, and all of a sudden now you take them off and there's nothing on it on the back teeth, they're going to go back slowly to the way they are, which may not be a problem for some patients, but it may be a big problem for other patients. So pick a good one. Then you're going to have to monitor very, very often. You cannot abandon this patient. You cannot let this patient ghost you, even if they may be really, really happy, but they don't realize they could overcorrect, not as much as if you trimmed an aligner. That could cause massive problems. This is much safer, but you could start to get some funky things happening in the back if you're not monitoring. So these patients need to be on a really tight leash. I would generally prefer that you teach them how to use articulation paper themselves. You give them a little wad, take it home, tap, tap, grind, grind, teach them how to use it, have them snap photos every few weeks. Once you see that the bite has settled on all the teeth, and then you got to bring them back and you got to make a set of Essix, or even better, you make a set of Vivera, which comes with 4, or order from any ortho lab that comes in sets of 4s, because remember, you need always more than one retainer for a lifetime. You need to be switching them out on a regular frequency. And no, it's not the orthodontist's job to be paying for these. It's a courtesy for them to give you a set to last you a little while. The patients need to be switching them out on a regular basis, and most patients are not aware of this, and a lot of orthodontists don't make an easy way to do this. They just wait for the patient to say, hey, I need another set. And, there are some orthodontists that do include the 4 sets. So that's a great question if you're starting treatment, or if you are a dentist and you're getting into offering this as, a menu of services. To offer 4 sets is very generous. I would say most orthodontists don't do it. It's usually an upgrade. But if someone does, well, that's a major value add for the treatment. So, and you might even need more in a lifetime. That might get you through a few years. But yeah, once the bite settles, then you need to be wearing these at least at night and when you're home. So, you don't have to wear them out, certainly, but at nighttime. So they'll last a pretty long time if you're just wearing them at night. And then if they want to have the front retainers removed at that point, that is another option. You totally can. It's really up to the patient and the doctor what they want to do there. I mean, of course, if they have the front retainers removed, then they need to be wearing these more. I would prefer you make the scan in that case then with these off and not on. But then, it's always a risk because things could move in the meantime, in that week when they come off. So it's just gonna be more adapted if you do it with them off. So I mean, that's the risk you take in making that decision. So hopefully that helps. This is a really great process to get a great bite at the end, a good balanced bite on all the back teeth, and no anterior contacts, all while keeping the front teeth straight. Hope it helps. Thanks.